Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 196 of the Mighty Whites podcast. I'm Jack, as always, joined by Casey.
Now then.
How's things, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. How about you?
Yeah, pretty good. Much like you, work is done, and for once, I don't have to work. I don't have to work for Saturday or the Sunday, sort of, because I have to then start work at about midnight Monday. But at least it's some time off.
It'll do.
Obviously, Leeds' game against Brentford being at 2 p.m. is ideally timed for when you try to set yourself for nights. But we'll see what happens. And it's nice to be able to use a positive. I was going to use a positive Simpsons quote. Unfortunately, it turns out there's not much positive. So instead, I've gone with a different show. Episode 196. Good clean win, J-Dog.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll get straight into it. Leeds 5, Cardiff 2.
No, mate, nil.
It was basically.
I'm pretty sure that game finished on about 83 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird reference. Was it Crew that we did this to in like League One? We went 5-0 up, Del scored a couple of screamers, and then we'd let them score twice in like the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was very early on in the season, if I remember rightly. You just think I'm like, oh, okay, we've put Lubo's on the pitch, so
yeah,
this is what can happen.
But came into it. Obviously, we had there was bits of standard Leeds United pessimism in there. You know, me putting Cardiff to qualify as my bet just out of pure pessimism. And the fact that I still think the price was a little bit generous. But there's always a chance for these games to become quite nervy. Unless you score a screamer after about 30 seconds, which always helps. Rodrigo cuts in his left foot, lofted ball to the far post. Their right back gets caught under the ball a bit. And Nonto jumps up, Di Canio-esque volley, but this time into the near post. Absolutely unbelievable goal.
Yeah, it's like when that happens, like as tellings will go, 7 seconds into the game, it'll get shorter and shorter every telling, I believe.
It'll be. It was literally from kickoff.
It was a long ball from kickoff. Nonto sprinted that fast, got in behind the defence, scissor kick.
Yeah,
glorious. But yeah, absolute stunner to get things started. But you know, as a Leeds fan in recent weeks, an early goal doesn't exactly settle you.
No. I must admit, like as much as they had a headed chance just beyond the near post when it was still 1-0, but for once, it doesn't happen very often with Leeds, but it really was just us being a miles better side and it looking like it. Like Nonto had a really good chance that he didn't take. All of it was Leeds on top, even though it did take until like just after the half hour to get the second. We never actually looked in any trouble here.
No, I think I said to you probably about 25 minutes in, like, this is good. We're completely in control here. It'd be really nice to see us kick it up a gear, though, because they were there for the taking. And it was really nice to see that we actually did.
Yeah, take them, we did. 2-0 just after the half hour mark. It was a really good through ball, this from Jack Harrison. Judged it perfectly, took all the defenders out and didn't leave. It was one of them, you know, where it just beats the defender by like half a yard. Always makes it look better.
It was reminiscent of the roof goal he set up in the first leg of the Derby playoff semi-final, wasn't it? That ball from out wide just curls it just behind the defenders.
I don't think this one was quite as good as that one.
No.
That pass was absolutely outstanding. Rodrigo goes through, takes his time. Keeper comes out, still takes his time, shifts it past the keeper, still takes his time, puts it in the corner. It was the finish of a very confident man. He seemed to have an edge. But I think that he also did have an edge because Cardiff weren't very good. But it's good to see a confident finish out of a striker.
Because they didn't play with a back three, did they, in the first leg? Because they seemed to pretty much play with, for the most part, like did they?
No, they picked a 4. They picked a 4 like they did last night. Wednesday night.
For the most part, whenever I looked at it, I don't know if it's just because they have a similar thing to us where it's just like having one of your fullbacks push up. But quite often when we're going through, it looks to be a back three with one of the fullbacks tucked in.
Yeah, I mean, that last night was definitely a 4. Sawyer's just dropped quite deep a lot.
Hmm.
And yeah, no, they were the same setup in the first game as well. But I've blocked out a lot of that first game now. I couldn't really remember. But yeah, the thing that you were saying about it just needs a little bit to kick on. Obviously, got that goal for like 34 minutes. I just looked 36. Leeds as a team, the pick of the goals. Obviously, the best goal is the first one for an individual moment. But Leeds played like 4 or 5 quick passes in like a couple of triangles on edge of box and took out their forwards and midfield that all pressed. Got ball forward to Jack Harrison, him out to Nonto, cuts inside the right back, who did have a bit of a nightmare. Got booked and he just couldn't cope with him, which is fair enough, really. Cuts inside, scores in the near post. But it isn't so much for turning inside and finishing. Those like 4, 5, 6 passes on the edge of the box that were quick, in a couple of triangles to take people out, that I haven't seen us do that all fucking season.
Well, you've seen us attempt it, but normally we just miss the second pass.
Yeah, it was great. I know that Cardiff are crap and you do have to factor in the opposition, but it was nice to see a move like that.
Yeah, especially when you look at the team we ended up putting out, that's really the sort of result you get because I think we need a win. We just needed a win.
But I think Jesse Marsch needed a win.
Yeah, I think Jesse really needed a win. But I think ultimately for the team to really gain anything from it, it needed to be a convincing win. Like I think if you come away from that with a 1-0 win, I don't think it's really done you much good. Because you looked at them last night and just thought that they are offering, and I'm saying this about a team who scored twice, but they are offering nothing here. You know, there wasn't one player you looked at and thought, oh, they're causing us problems.
Yeah, there was nothing really until right at the end of the first half where we basically conceded a goal. Corner comes in, completely unmarked header, comes out, loops up in the air, another unchallenged run to head it home, and luckily for Leeds, there's a player stood in front of Meslier. I haven't actually seen this back on telly because they didn't even bother putting it in the highlights package. But it did. We went for a drink after the game, and people who'd watched it on telly said it was offside. He was stood right in front of Meslier, and that Meslier would probably have saved it without that player there.
I watched the extended highlights last night, and he is, if you're being generous, he's probably not directly in line with the ball, but he's there enough that I think he's a distraction.
Yeah, it sounded fair enough.
And was clearly like 2 yards offside. Like it wasn't close either.
Right. Well, fair enough. Luckily, because it was very nice to have like such a stress-free time. It's a long time since we've had that at Leeds. Half time, he did 2 of the 3 subs that I was wanting him to do because I said take Rodrigo off, take Adams off, and take Nonto off now. Don't risk him. And we did get Bamford for Rodrigo and Aronson for Adams. Greenwood dropped in a bit deeper. Aronson played a bit further forward. And not long later, Verba went off injured and Ayling came on at centre-back. But by the sounds of it, from Jesse Marsch's press conference today, Verba's fine and he's available for Sunday. And then, again, not that long later, Nonto did go off. Gellert replaced him. Not after he'd had a couple more shots trying desperately to get his hat-trick. Which I can only I have to assume is the only reason that Marsch gave him another like 15-20 minutes because he just wanted him to get a hat trick.
He absolutely did not need to be playing any of that second half, but
it was fine. Gellert replaced Nonto, which is probably going to be his final appearance for Leeds this season. It sounds like Wigan are going to win the race. I'm guessing. I mean, Wigan aren't the best side that we're in for him, but he played there before. He knows people there. He liked it there. So, and he will play every week there, you would assume. So, fine. Good move. For 4-0, Luke Ayling, really good ball over the top. Bamford runs onto it like sort of inside right channel. And he has so much time. Oh my God. It was like Leeds at the worst. There's one ball, takes out everyone, and he lets it bounce again. Opens his body up, makes sure he's got time. And then it is a good curled finish of a bouncing ball into the far corner. It's really well taken goal, but I can't believe how much time he had.
It's really nice to see him taking those sorts of chances, though, because you worry, especially after a bit of a layoff, that those are the ones he might snatch at a bit. But no, kept his head. He ended up, because I think with the defenders around him, he was in behind, but there was one of their defenders had dropped in about 2 yards deeper to play him on for that one. But yeah, like, it was clear what he was going to do as well. As soon as you could see his body shape open. He opened his shoulders up to play it across goal, but it was a really well taken finish.
Yeah, really good. And everyone's mentioned how much they're delighted to see him scoring goals, because if we can get him going, it does really help. I know that we've signed another one now, and then for him to pop up. I mean, it really wasn't long later. 5 minutes later, Leeds win the ball high up. Bamford tries to get onto it. There's quite a good tackle, actually, to prevent him doing it, but goes straight to Gellart. Gellart back to Bamford. Outside at foot touch, outside at foot finish. Really well taken. Showing, it was like watching confident first Bielsa season, Bamford. He took it really well. First Bielsa season in the Premier League is what I meant to say there. Yeah. I'm tired.
I was going to say that or second Bielsa season.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's really good to see he's looking sharp, and it's an ideal game to be, getting 45 minutes in. Was this we were comfortably in front, but it was good to see that it wasn't a case of 3-0 up. All right, let's just knock it about for 45 minutes, and for 37 minutes, and don't worry about the last 7. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
8.
I mean,
don't worry about it.
Obviously, it's still early days for him yet, but he's been back and played like 75 minutes and scored 3 goals. I mean, you take that. It doesn't matter who the opposition is, you take that. Didn't really do much and looked... he didn't look sharp, but still a good thing to see. Sinisterra replaced Harrison for the last 10-15 minutes. Good to see him back on the pitch.
Yeah, it was interesting because it'd only been announced sort of 2 days, but what was it that he was going to have his first day on the pitch, and then he was on the bench. And I know we've had a couple of injuries and bits like that. So always a little bit worrying as a Leeds fan when you hear stuff like that, because you do think, Christ, we're going to bring him on 5-0 up, absolutely nothing to play for, re-injured. But no, seems to have made it through fine. So yeah, good to see him back. And again, just now we've got a bit of quality depth again, with Sinisterra back. Once I'd imagine it's still going to be a couple of weeks of him on the bench. But if you're looking at Aronson, Harrison, Nonso, Sinisterra as your 4 players currently available, challenging to play on the wings, with Somerville to come in as well. It's nice. And then add to that you've got 3 strikers. We're looking quite good there.
It's sort of a thing that you don't really think about, but you think about all those forward options, like Rutter, Bamford, Rodrigo as like striker options, and all those wing options you just said. And there's a few of them that can all play 10 as well, basically.
Well, I think they're going to play as the second left winger, as we've discovered the tactic now is.
Yeah,
the inside 10. Left winger.
Like, to be honest, the one against Cardiff, it looked like that a little bit at times, but it was further forward than that. It was more like an ever so slightly withdrawn left striker in a 2.
Yeah.
It just kept going. But you go through all of those options, and obviously the scoring goals isn't really our issue. But you do look at that and think, you should score enough to be okay. Like,
yeah. I think one thing that we've proven this season is that we do create chances.
Obviously, I would say against Cardiff we created chances. In a lot of games we just sort of manifest chances. Penis ball, just get there in the middle. One of them will fall to you.
We do have seem to have a decent amount of play in opposition halves. And you'd hope now, one, with Bamford coming back in, that we have a better chance of winning the ball higher up the pitch. And hopefully, under eight's model of, listen, if they can't get it out their half, you're just going to keep scoring.
Yeah.
Just so if they can't get out, brilliant. That's it. Just keep it in there. But we do have players that can create good chances, and the hope is that if you get Aronson gets himself back into some form, you've got two wingers in him and Nonto that can create chances. You've got Bamford to press, and you've got Rodrigo, who in current form, it will take his chances if he's given them.
I must admit, because I think now that we've got all these options,
we didn't actually need Rutter.
Yeah, no, we'll see. But in the way that sort of Nonto pushed right on and was basically a second striker with Rodrigo against Cardiff, I am thinking with the options we've got now, you're going to see a lot more of that. I think we're going to be bordering on 4-2-4 quite a lot now.
It's our strength. Say what you will about our defence, and it is crap, but we've got good attacking players, and you put behind that. Tyler Adams has got the engine to get up and down as well. Mark Rocker, from what I've heard from you, his progressive passing statistics are through the roof.
His progressive passing statistics are really good.
He's going to get beaten over the head with that.
No, he's genuine, and his passing in general is really good. He hit like 4 or 5 excellent crossfield balls against Cardiff that were really good. The problem is, if we end up really 4-2-4, you probably need 2 midfielders that can really run. And
that's not him.
For all of his strengths, and I really like Matt Locker, he can't run. But yeah, we'll see. I keep having this
in the middle.
I'm the biggest Somerville fan probably in the world, but there is still a bit of a Rangers going. But if you ended up with Nonto and Sinistero as your wingers, that's pretty nice.
But I think absolutely.
But do you know what else would be? Sinistero on the left, Somerville on the right, Nonto and one of the other strikers as like a 4-2-4.
At some point, we've got to play at least 2 of our 3 strikers. We can't sign Rutter for that amount of money for it to have like Bamford and Rodrigo on. Like 2 of those 3 have to play.
It depends how much. It depends what sort of thought. If Nonto keeps going like this, then you've just got to make whatever works for him work the way it's going. But yeah, it's nice to be positive, thinking about all the goals and stuff. But at the end of the day, Leeds are still Leeds. So as much as we want to forget about it, we did concede 2 goals at the end of this game.
And what are 2 goals to concede?
Yeah. Cardiff getting behind down our left, put in what can only be described as a shit cross.
Roughly thigh height, I believe.
Thigh high.
Is anything to go off.
Luke Ayling's in position, and he appears to basically swing his cock at it. And sort of knock it down.
He tries to close his thighs around it, like his feet are clearly planted. So he can't lift his feet, so he just tries to squeeze his thighs together.
Into the ground.
You're a professional, man.
Yeah, into the ground, up. Callum Robinson, unmarked, heads it in easily. And there were a lot of people go, you see, what's Marsch meant to do about that? That particular one, there's no Marsch could do about that mistake. But have you watched it back and looked behind Luke Ayling?
I'm going to guess it's that because it should be Christensen that's in behind him, I'm guessing.
Well, basically,
you're going to tell me that someone hasn't tracked anyone.
No, Christensen is behind Ayling, as are 3 Cardiff players. There's Robinson who scores, and then there's 2 more at the back post versus 1. So, had it been a good cross, the system issue was still there. It's just that it was a shit cross that Ayling should have done. I mean, it is Ayling's fault still, but at the end of the day, luckily it happened at a time that doesn't matter. And then right at the end, Cardiff get a late penalty for a handball against Rocker. In the ground, no one had a fucking clue what had happened here.
Again, having watched this back, there are definitely appeals from Cardiff players.
You wouldn't call them massive ones, though, would you? They were like, handball, and then they move on.
There's three of them who are around it. I couldn't tell watching it. There's an argument it was outside the penalty area, but
the couple of replays I saw, I thought it looked outside the box. And seeing as it wasn't given on the pitch, I'm surprised it got given. But
yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is it's definitely handball.
Yeah,
like it was absolutely handball. There's an argument that it shouldn't have been given because it probably was outside the box, but it was around this time while the ref was checking as well that despite all the substitutions being made, there was only 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, it was nice to see the old school. Look, lads, let's just call it a day.
Listen, lads, this game is... Well, you try telling that to Callum Robinson after he tucked away that penalty. Because he got the ball and he ran it back.
Yeah, he did, which you have to admire.
I think he picked it up side jogging, and I think there's a bit went,
we need 3 more in 30 seconds here. Were you in the ground early enough for the click stuff?
Turns out I was. Like, the really... One, I think it's to do with the tannoy system that I didn't really pick up on it.
In the East Stand Upper, it's particularly shit.
Yeah. 2, I wasn't expecting Click to be wearing some sort of faux mink coat.
That sounds quite a lot like it.
So it was nice to see him come out. It was literally Click comes onto the pitch, give him a round of applause, and he's gone. There were no words, and I suppose he's already made his statement.
Yeah,
he's put out his open letter. It's David Prutton style goodbye, but a little bit sweary.
Yeah, well, he'll be missed round here, but hopefully he'll do well.
For Wayne Rooney's Derby County United.
Yeah,
makes you think, doesn't it? Derby County, DC United.
All right, Lettuce. There's a couple of little bits of news. Joe Snowden signed a new 1.5-year deal. He looks talented in the 21s, but I haven't seen enough to make me think, he's definitely going to break through a lot. We'll see if it can kick on, but he's looked decent. I don't know if you've seen much.
No, I can't say I have.
Yeah. But the bigger news, even though it is still an under-20, they're both about under-21 players who haven't really played, but the bigger news, Max Dean has gone to MK Dons. The thing that's surprising about this is it's a permanent deal, because everyone was expecting him to go out on loan. However, I think this is probably the best thing for all parties. They haven't, I don't think they've released, I don't know if they've said what the terms are. I haven't really...
I can't say I'd really realised it was going to be a permanent deal, and it's a little bit sad to be out because he's only 18, so you would imagine that kind of Perkins and Joseph will be moving up and out of the 21s quicker, whether that's into our first team or out on loan at some point. So it would have made sense to keep him around, but. 2, he's a very easy to like player.
Yeah, I mean, I know that everyone's made this comparison, but he does remind you of Alan Smith when he first came through.
Just going into Martin Keown and then just what are you going to do about it, old man?
Yeah. The thing is, I'm sure that he's just looking at it and going, well, Matteo Joseph's ahead of me, Perkins is ahead of me. Gelhart's 20, Rutter's 20.
And the manager that wants me knows me.
Yeah, he's never going to get a chance. I am guessing that if we have taken a fee from MK Dons, it'll be it'll be very low. I'm just hoping.
Sell on.
Yeah, well, that's the best thing for it with a deal like this, just because he does have some potential. I don't think he's ever going to be a Premier League player.
The 30 million buyback clause, just in case.
Yeah, but if we've put on a nice chunk of sell-on clause, in case he does suddenly snap into life and become brilliant. He's a good finisher, though. Good finisher, quick. His movement off the ball's good. So I feel like if he's in a good side, he'll score goals. And because he works his bollocks off, everyone, I think that MK Dons' fans will take to him really quickly. And that was the thing that I genuinely forgot when it first got announced, that Mark Jackson's now their manager.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be shocked if there's another one or two end up there, would you?
No, it would make sense to send a couple of players there on loan if, players who know the gaffer, know the system. Don't know the club because it's not real, but...
Yeah, it's not a club, is it? It's franchise.
Yeah. I don't know. This is hot off the press, actually. I don't know if you remember what I said to you about the possible Football Manager style Manchester United double header. It's coming to fruition.
Oh, is that going to be the proposed date? I have got a notification on my phone from the Leeds app that I didn't read. I'm guessing that's what it was.
From Graham Smith, should Manchester United and Leeds United not require FA Cup replays, they will meet at Old Trafford on Wednesday, the 8th of February at 8 p.m. They will then play again at Elland Road on Sunday, the 12th. Mayhem.
Wednesday, the 8th. Well, that'll be. I wonder if that'll make it. I mean, I'm not going to go anyway. I don't, because of just a million things that get in the way. But I wonder if that'll make it slightly easier to get the away tickets, because there'll be a lot of people can't go at that short notice.
Yeah, that'll be.
By the way, speaking of short notice, obviously Boreham Wood play Accrington on Tuesday the 24th. The winner of that plays Leeds at 12:30 on Saturday the 28th, and it's at their ground.
Yeah.
Good luck organising that.
They can all drive to Accrington, can't they? Well, I don't know if the car park's big enough, actually, but...
I don't think it does. I mean, Accrington / Boreham Wood.
Yeah.
It's going to be a right pain in the ass for them. But yeah, good solid win. We both got 2 points for what it's worth, but neither of us won our bet.
No, although we both did have us to concede as well, so...
Well, I mean, it's Leeds. We're always going to concede, no matter what.
Yeah, it's been, like I say, it was a much needed win, and nice to see us knock a team about a bit, even if we are going to get absolutely thrashed by Brentford.
Knock a team about a bit sounds a bit more violent than I think he meant it to. Will we require violence on Sunday when we play Brentford at home?
No, we will be about by Brentford.
Right.
Look how big their defenders are.
They are massive. Since the World Cup in the league, Brentford have drawn 2-2 with Spurs, had a 2-0 win at West Ham, a 3-1 win v Liverpool, and a 2-0 win v Bournemouth.
Oh, they're only beating shit teams then.
Yeah. Yeah, relegation threatened Liverpool will be...
It's a dynasty in ruin, is that?
Yeah, which has taken them up to 8th in the league. As they're in really good form. They, for the 3 games after the World Cup, they did lose to West Ham in the FA Cup with Adam Mar. They played the 3-5-2, but they played a back 4 against Bournemouth in the last game. And in the 5-2 win against us earlier in the season, they played a back 4 in that as well. So I'm leaning towards they'll go sort of 4-3-3.
Yeah, that could work. I'm just trying to look at what it was last time we played each other.
As I say, I'm pretty sure I had a look. I'm pretty sure I played a 4-3-3 in that one because they played that Keane Lewis Potter on the left and Mbermo on the right and Tony up top, I think. Or it might have been Mbermo and Tony and Keane Lewis Potter like in playing off them or something like that.
It was those 3 with Jensen, Jan Elton, and Baptiste as a 3-man midfield.
Yeah.
Pontus is Pontus still out injured?
I think he's back from injury, but he hasn't been in the team because Pinnock and Ben Mee's been really good. Obviously we've got David Raya in goal, who's a good keeper. Centre back options, as I said, Janssen. They've got Ben Mee and Pinnock who are good, and they've got that Zanka, that Jorgensen as well. That he's all right, and Christopher Ayer if they want to play him at centre back. But they've been more using him as a right back in a 4.
Yeah.
Rico Henry will play left back or left wing back, whether it's a 3 or a 4. And then that Roslav can play as a right back as well. And Janel, although he's a midfielder, can play full back too. If they play a 4-3-3, which I think they will, it'll be Norgard and Jensen for definite. And then probably Josh De Silva. But they could put Janel in there as well.
Yeah, that's what they went with against Bournemouth. Is that 3? Yeah. They're a really well organised team, as much as I dislike them, and
I don't particularly dislike Brentford. I dislike Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
I want to make clear, he's done a fantastic job, and he's clearly a very good coach. I just don't like him very much. I just think he comes off as a prick. But like, he's a really good coach. Like, no one can deny the job he's doing.
They've only lost 4 this season, but the goal difference is only +4 as well, which you imagine most of that will have been sort of rectified in the last few games. They've scored 32, conceded 28. It's almost the inverse of what we've done, really. But
yeah, I'm just trying to, like, if they've only got a +4 goal difference, have they had a hiding off? Oh yeah, they had a hiding off Newcastle 5-1. And they got beat 3-0 by Arsenal. Because when you said it was only +4, I was thinking, hang on, they beat us 5-2. They beat Scum 4-0. They also got beat 4-0 by Aston Villa by the looks of it.
I mean, 6th in the table, Fulham also have +3.
Yeah, I couldn't remember them getting hammered in any games. And I was like, how can that possibly be true? But they have got hammered in games. I just don't remember them. We've mentioned the front line before. It'll probably be, if it's a 3-5-2, it'll be Tony and Mbermo. If it's a 4-3-3, it'll be Mbermo right, Tony through the middle, and probably that Wisser on the left. But they've also got Mikel Damsgaard and that Keane Lewis Potter.
Yeah, it's not looking like Ivan Toney's charges are going to be sort of dealt with in the next 24 hours, is it?
No, I think that we would have heard something by now.
I don't know. If you go with the Football League approach, just wait until the absolute last minute when you can't really do anything about it. Just go, well, what they're like. We've made him sweat about it, but no, could have really done with him being suspended for this one.
Yeah.
And the next 6 months or something.
I think I actually said to you at the game on Wednesday, to be honest, I'd take him only getting a 1-game ban, provided that game ban was against us.
Really, that'll learn him.
Yeah. Obviously, we got battered by him earlier this season, 5-2. But when you actually think back to that game, it wasn't a 5-2 game. They were the better side, but we had some major defensive lapses when chasing the game and gave away extra goals. And we had a pretty blatant penalty turned down earlier that got because Jesse. This is the game Jesse Marsch got sent off in, isn't it?
Yes.
It was also, they deserve to win, but not by that much.
It was that was the last game Diego Llorente started for some reason.
Well, in the league.
Well,
because he started on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I mean, that was a particularly poor game for both. It was him and Koch, wasn't it? I think both had.
Yeah, they both had pretty
nightmarish performances. Cody Drammer started that one, and I don't remember that.
Oh, I do, because Ayling came on. I think that was his first game back after injury. And he had a really good 15, 20 minutes. And Twitter went into, he should be starting every week now, no matter what. Immediately.
Also, where was Rodrigo? I've completely forgotten this guy. I remember his conceding goals. Gelhardt starts this one.
Hang on. That was this season, wasn't it, when Rodrigo did his shoulder for a few weeks?
Yeah. Because Bamford was on the bench. Simpler times, so was Leo Fjelde.
Yeah.
Adam Forshaw was on the bench.
Yeah. But it's a weird one, this, because obviously you're looking at games and the way Brentford are playing, you don't really go into this thinking, oh, we're really in a good position and we need to get something. But this is a game that Leeds are favourites for with bookies. And that just makes me think Brentford are value. Because I can't see how we're favourites for this. This is not, it's not like playing Man City or anything. Of course, this is a winnable game.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not an easy one. Team-wise, what do you think we'll do?
So Melier in goal. I think we go back to Ayling.
Yep.
I think we probably go back to Ayling, Koch, Cooper, and do you think we go with Verba?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it Verba? Yeah, because I mean, Marsch said in his press conference that the people that were out, he said Archie Gray was out, Stuart Dallas is out, Somerville's out, Adam Forshaw's out. And I think that was it. So, like, Cooper is available, and he tends to pick him when he's available.
Yeah.
Based on it, I suppose it depends on. I know he's back in training, but it depends how much of a knock it was that he got against Cardiff. But I would quite like to see Verba in. I mean, to be honest, I know he's had 2 bad games. I would still quite like it to be Koch, Strauch, Verba. And it's not a knock on Liam Cooper, who I think is probably current form, deserves to be in the side. I just want to get Strauch into left centre back as soon as possible and just try and get him into form, because I do think he's the best option long term.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be Koch, Cooper. I'm going to say Koch, Cooper, Verba.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Rocker and Adams.
I'm shocked by this.
Yeah, I can't see that being out else.
I think this is probably Aronson back in, Nonto.
I mean,
do you think we stick with Harrison? I wonder if we stick with Harrison. Because Harrison and Nonto work quite well together.
And Harrison,
the double left.
I know that it's a couple of cup games and stuff, but if you're just going off recent form, Harrison is playing better than Aronson at the moment.
Yeah, the only thing I just don't want to see him back on the right. He's played better playing as a left winger or sort of down the middle, but mostly when he's been on the left. Like, I think that's just his best position.
I wonder if it'll be like sort of Harrison. So do you think Harrison, Nonto, Aronson,
Rodrigo? Yeah, I think it's same front four that started Cardiff.
Well, that was Sam Greenwood.
Oh God, yes, yeah.
Aronson came off the bench.
Oh God, yeah, he's just always there.
Yeah, Sam Greenwood was a little bit quiet and took some good set pieces, which, you know, that's kind of how it sounds a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it probably will be that, because I don't think he'll throw. Like, I believe it is Rutter, isn't it?
We're all going to say Rutter, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I don't think they're going to throw him in from the start. He's actually commented saying that he's done well in training and that he'll be in the squad, which I would expect him to be in the squad. But I think Rutter even admitted in his one of the interviews that he isn't quite 100% because he had to miss a week of training.
Well, yeah, they were also still on their winter break, weren't they?
Yeah.
When we signed him, so he's not played a competitive game for a fair while now. It'll be end of November.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what friendly matches he was involved in, if any, but yeah. So you'd imagine he's probably not 100% just yet. And to be honest, with how Nonto and Rodrigo have been playing, it'd be tough to drop either one of those.
Yeah, I suppose what I was more thinking is that you could, like, instead of Aronson, you could have Rutter playing off the right. If he was fitter, you could also have Sinisterra, but again, he'll only be on the bench. So yeah, I think that'll be it. But I think it'll end up with Aronson on the right and Harrison sort of as the 10 / Nonto as the 10. I think it'll probably end up Nonto in the middle, Harrison left, Aronson right, because Nonto will borderline end up playing up front, like he did against Cardiff.
Which I think suits us. Like, Nonto kind of had, between Nonto and Harrison, they seem to have a bit of freedom for one of them to drift a bit more inside. whilst one hugged the
Yeah.
left. And I think it suits Jack Harrison that as well, because they both kept more over to that side, whoever was playing central.
Well, there was a bit in the second half that we noticed during the Cardiff game where we were sat up top, where it wasn't 4-2-3-1 anymore. It was 4-3-3, and Jack Harrison was playing left centre mid, basically.
Yeah, which I think is I thought he looked quite good. I think it was against Man City or West Ham.
West Ham was when he was dropping deep a lot.
He came on as one of the central players, and I thought having that space to run into from a bit deeper. And I don't know if that's because of the compact system that him starting from deeper is probably more of an advantage for him to run into the busy area instead. But I've quite liked it. So, and obviously everyone knows I love Jack Harrison.
Yeah.
He's my boy.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only other option, and I don't think we'll do this, I think he'll be on the bench, is do you think there's any chance of Bamford starting? Which I don't think would mean Rodrigo dropping out. I think it'd mean Aronson dropping out.
No, but I don't think he's that far off. And to be honest, had we not played brilliantly against Cardiff, I could see it. Like if someone had a particularly bad game, I could have maybe seen it being more likely. But no, I think I don't think there's a need to yet. Like I think I'd prefer it if we were going to do that, do it against like a Southampton or someone, an Everton, a team like that where I think we probably need, where we should be looking to get more goals, and we probably want a second actual striker on the pitch. Also, right. I've loaded up a sort of the detailed Premier League table. Brentford, 9 games away from home this season, have won 2, drawn 4, lost 3.
Yeah, so they're not as strong.
No, they've only lost once at home this season, which probably explains the position they're in now. Us at home, 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats, goal difference +1.
I'll tell you, it feels worse than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the West Ham performance was, I know we came away with a draw, but like no one was optimistic after that game. No. So, as pessimistic as I am about this, because again, I think Brentford are just a very well set up team. Judging by their away form, there is a chance there.
Yeah, weirdly, I was like as you know with me, I would normally be even more. I'm pretty much more pessimistic than just about anyone at this point, other than maybe my dad. But I've weirdly got a feeling we're going to win this.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've actually gone for 2-1 to Leeds.
Yeah. So I'm just looking, because I was just looking through their results. One of the teams they've beaten away from home is Man City.
Yeah, and it was all on the break, but God, they look really good on the break. Luckily, Leeds don't have much trouble with defensive transition.
No.
They're scoring from a Leeds corner, aren't they?
Yeah. And one of their own.
We were still doing that against Cardiff. No one back. Deepest man about 25 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a risk.
But we have to have Nonto in the penalty area.
Yeah.
For his aerial prowess. I'll go with a 1-1 draw. I think as much as I know we need to get results in these next few games, I'll take a draw against Brentford.
See, I don't think we can afford to take. I mean, I suppose it depends on the draw. If we're second best by a mile and draw, I'm not sure that that's enough.
That's the other away win they've had this season is away at West Ham. So 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom, and they'll take 5 from anywhere else.
Yeah, and for my bet, based on the way that he tried to perform against Cardiff, These aren't shots on target; they're just shots. None to 4 or more shots is. Let me just check. It is 5-2.
For whatever reason, Paddy Power, where I get all my odds from, is not working. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with Rodrigo first goal, and Jack, you can tell me what the odds are. I know they won't be great, but I'm going conservative here.
Well, Rodrigo first goal. I will have a look at what there is, because there's probably. I mean, there's a load, but there'll be a top price which you may as well have.
It's finally loaded. The professionalism again of this podcast on show.
Oh yeah, we are. Always remember that we are the top price is apparently 5-1.
Okay, yeah. This is now loaded. Yeah, 11-2. I had so yeah.
Oh, 11-2 is bigger, so odds checker is lying.
The bastards.
The bastards they are. But yeah, I'm weirdly confident, but if I was trying to be objective about it, I do keep looking at Brentford being nearly 2-1 and thinking that price is pretty big.
Yeah.
Like, in the same way that by the time it went off, Cardiff to qualify was 6-1. And I was like, Leeds aren't 1-12 to qualify against almost anyone. And so it's a bit like that. So yeah, I'm fancying us to win this, but I think it's more of I think this one might be a bit more heart than head. Have we else we need to talk about?
No, I think that should cover it.
Hey, nice one. We don't have a midweek game after Brentford, do we?
Not that I'm aware of.
Cool, because yeah, I think that the next one after that is the FA Cup game against TBD. Yeah, because there might be a little bit of a delay until the next podcast, just because I'm on nights at the start of next week.
Yeah,
and it'll throw things off. So it might be like that we don't do one until Thursday or Friday, because I will be back onto a normal schedule Wednesday, but I will have been up for like 27, 28 hours. So I know I talk a lot of bollocks anyway, but I'll talk an even more amount of bollocks if I try to do a podcast that day.
Oh, could be fun.
Yeah. Well, either that or I can just drink a load and then no one will be able to tell if it's tiredness or alcohol.
Was he drunk or a baby?
So yeah, that will do us for episode 196 of My Lads Podcast. Hopefully we get a win, because we really, really, really need one. And when you're in this sort of situation, you really do have to get results at home in the situation we're in. But I've been Jack, see ya.
I've been Casey. Have a good one.
In a bit.